Hi, everybody. What's going on with you all today? I'm bringing you a story from the New York Post. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to delve a little bit into the insane rhetoric going on in this article. It's clearly a hit piece. It's a smear piece, whatever you want to call it. And one of the New York Post writers, Johnny Oleszynski, has some serious negative feelings towards Jenna Ortega. I'm not even sure why. But you can probably see from the title alone that it's going to be a pretty spicy article. Wednesday star Jenna Ortega's rude comments should kill her career, but they won't. Okay, so she made some rude comments. I mean, she needs to be fired. Her career needs to go down the drain because she was rude one time. Well, I think we're going to need just a little bit more context, New York Post. Okay, let's read about it. What makes Jenna Ortega think she can publicly trash her employer and get away with it? Whoa. Publicly trash her employer. Sounds a little bit defaming. That's okay. Maybe they're telling the truth. Let's check it out. Everybody and everything, that's what. Such is the punishment-free, cowering in terror, you do you, be well world we live in. This is interesting, man. Check this out. The 20-year-old star of Netflix's massive hit Wednesday, already a national treasure in her own mind, okay, recently said on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast that her behavior at work was unprofessional. Oh, so she admitted. She came out and admitted on an interview that her behavior was unprofessional. Okay, what kind of behavior? But Ortega wasn't on a teary-eyed apology tour atoning for her sins. No, she was extolling her rotten behavior as a virtue. I'm sorry, was she supposed to apologize and be teary-eyed and cry about oh, I can't believe I acted this way. I'm so sorry, everybody. I was just rude one time. Oh, now my career's over. Thank goodness New York Post stuck up for the little guy, the writers. Okay. On the podcast, the actress, who's also in Scream 6, by the way, discussed how, like an authoritarian dictator, okay, why do people just throw that term around so loosely these days? Authoritarian dictator. Okay. She was a self-appointed script doctor on Wednesday, and that she deserves the utmost thanks from the actual paid unionized writers for bettering their thoughtless schlock. Well, that sounds like something coming from your mouth, not Jenna Ortega's mouth, but okay. Quote, this is what Jenna Ortega said, just so everybody can have clear context as to what's going on. There were times on that set where I even became almost unprofessional in a sense, where I just started changing lines, Ortega said, proudly citing the sort of actions that would get anybody else in any other profession fired. Yes, absolutely. She changed some lines. Clearly her career should be over. Why is there even a Wednesday season 2 when she's going on set and changing one or two lines to make the show better? Absolutely unprofessional and absurd and pathetic. And oh, wait, there's more? Oh, okay, well, let's read that. Quote, the script supervisor thought I was going with something, and then I had to sit down with the writers, and they'd be like, wait, what happened to the scene? And I'd have to go and explain why I couldn't do certain things. So the reaction is, wait, what happened to the scene? Oh, wow, that sounds like a blood-curdling complaint. They clearly went on Twitter and just slammed her over and over again because of her rude and obnoxious and fireable behavior. Okay. Some of those things, quote, Wednesday being in a love triangle, it made no sense. There was a line about a dress she has to wear for a school dance, and she says, OMG, I love it. Ugh, I can't believe I said that. I literally hate myself. I had to go, no. Oh, okay, so she didn't like a line. Well, that's weird, because up here, the article says, what makes Jenna Ortega think she can publicly trash her employer and get away with it? I'm sorry, people who are watching this video, did you see anything in here where she was publicly trashing her employer? Okay, well, let's read on. Maybe we're just missing something. Ortega's egotistical nonsense is a throwback to Katherine Heigl's petulance in the early days of Grey's Anatomy. Whoa. So now we're talking about another actress? How come? The then 29-year-old starlet was already known for being difficult when, in 2008, she very publicly took herself out of Emmy Awards contention. Quote, I did not feel that I was given the material this season to warrant an Emmy nomination. In addition, I did not want to potentially take away an opportunity from an actress who was given such materials, she told the LA Times. AKA, I'm amazing, everybody else around me sucks. That, clearly, the New York Post writer has some serious negative feelings going on, and he's just making things up as he goes along. Okay, clearly up here, he's like, she was trashing her employer. What did she say that was so publicly humiliating for the writers or for the director or whatever? Okay, well, let's scroll down a little bit because all they're doing right now is talking about Katherine Heigl. And it says right here, she's still on the rise with at least 4 movies in the works. Insanely, the actress has been made an executive producer on the 2nd season of Wednesday. It's like if your boss discovered you sitting in her office chair shouting orders at your peers and said, "You're absolutely right. You're in charge now." Like, this just sounds like a feigning of rage. Like, what kind of person gets this upset over something so trivial? Stephen D. Knight, a producer whose credits include Buffy the Vampire Slayer and who isn't working on Wednesday, did, however, have the guts to call out Ortega, sort of. On Twitter, he declared her comments entitled and toxic. Well, you're not supposed to call people like Jenna Ortega toxic and entitled. Everybody in Hollywood knows that the only people who are entitled and toxic in this world are males, okay? Males are the only people on earth who are toxic. So you saying that about Jenna Ortega, that is wrong, and you should take that back immediately. Wait, but then he had to walk it back after an outcry from fans. Ortega is fantastic, and the whole uproar is a learning experience for everyone. The Knight later tweeted as a mea culpa. Okay, diva behavior isn't new in Hollywood or Broadway or opera, but it used to amount to the artistically rooted outbursts of supernaturally talented people who'd been in the business for decades. So she's a diva because she changed a couple of lines because she wanted to make the show just a little bit better. She's a diva. She needs to be fired. Okay. But to publicly proclaim that your coworkers stink is tantamount to treason, especially when said coworkers are responsible for the breakout role that saved you from video game voiceovers. Ortega should be criticized for her ungrateful comments. Instead, she's being celebrated. Well, it sounds like the writer wanted to say Ortega should be crucified for ungrateful comments, because that's the attempt here, for sure. It's just an attempt to smear and crucify her for something small. And I'm actually really intrigued because I don't know why they're attacking Jenna Ortega like this, what she's done, or what kind of threat she poses to Hollywood. But this is interesting to say the least. And I want to go over to the Twitter post because this is even more insane than the actual article itself. See, they posted the article on Twitter, okay? And look, they've gotten almost 16 million. Like, when I started recording the video, it was at, I think, 15.5 or 6. That has gone up a lot of views. And it's getting absolutely ratioed. 15.8 million views, only 800 likes. So obviously people on Twitter completely disagree. They're not on the same page. They think that Jenna Ortega is a great actress, and they're not sure why New York Post is going on an insane rant. Even I commented, and I absolutely ratioed them, okay? Like, they've been ratioed by my tweet. This doesn't read like an informative article. It's basically a hit piece against Ortega. What's worse is that most of the article is about another actress's insufferable attitude, assuredly to justify the unnecessary negative feelings towards Ortega. In other words, it's bait. And my comment alone got 3,483 likes. Like, that's 3 times as much, 3 or 4 times as much as the article itself. And other people are also benefiting from this as well, especially this one from Barry Hughes, who is responding to a comment that's defending the writers and saying that all of this bullying writers is just so terrible. How could people do this? Barry Hughes said, "As a consumer of media, all I really care about is the quality of the show. If the writers are getting outwritten by a 20-year-old, better writers need to be hired. It's work. They aren't handing out participation trophies. I don't care how hard you worked if the work done is subpar. All people want is a well-written show. They don't want a bunch of politics injected. They don't want poor writing. And you know what? If an actress has to come in and she has to provide her own input and it somehow makes the show better, then what are people complaining about?" I mean, you've got other people who are saying very similar things. Every time a bad production, like objectively bad, comes out, I wonder if the people involved knew it. This seems to tell me that they do know, and she cared enough to try to make it better. And it worked, since the show is huge. And it is. Wednesday is not a bad show. It's very popular. People are excited for season 2. I mean, it's not like the best thing out there, but it's not the worst thing either. And plus, it's created by Tim Burton. I mean, that's like the best person for the job. The show's not the worst. I mean, it's got really funny parts in it. And it's not supposed to be the most the most sense-making show out there either. I mean, it's got like a giant Frankenstein type monster attacking people. You've got a macabre family with Wednesday at the helm, and she's doing completely macabre and dark things all the time. You know, I mean, it's not supposed to be a show that makes perfect sense. It's supposed to be an off-kilter fantasy show, basically. I mean, you've got werewolves, vampires, sirens, all kinds of things in that show, and they all attend the same school. I mean, this rage is just so unnecessary. Clearly, I mean, people agree with me, and they agree that Jenna Ortega is not deserving of this absolutely ridiculous, absurd, and pathetic rant coming from what I can only assume is an adult writer for the New York Post. I mean, this is ridiculous. That being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like and share it if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. I hope to see you all again next time. Have a great day.